welcome to another edition of the Gator Nation Football Podcast Film Review. I'm your host, James DiVirgilio, and we'll be looking at Florida's defense versus Kentucky's offense. Florida's defense did make a lot of Week 1 to Week 2 improvement. Week 1 to Week 2 is generally where you see the most improvement, and unlike the offense, which took a pretty significant step back, the defense did deliver on that. There's still plenty of things that we're going to look at that were not correct. There were plenty of mistakes that need to be cleaned up. But overall, the defense did get better from Week 1 to Week 2. As always, if you like this content, you can support us by following us on social media, by dropping us a dono on Patreon, and by checking out the podcast each and every Monday where we bring you in-depth analysis on the Gators. Now, before I hop into this film, I do want to give some love and recognition to one Brian Cox. Last week on film, we saw him lose discipline on several plays where he was not holding the edge, and it cost Florida. He made a tremendous improvement from Week 1 to Week 2, as you're going to see on this film, basically doing his job to perfection in this game, and that's what you want your best players to do to set an example for the rest of the team. So great job, Brian. Super, super happy to be able to chronicle your progress on this video, as really the best thing about doing film reviews is showing progress. It's not fun and it's frustrating to show guys who keep doing the same things wrong. It's much more rewarding to see people get better. That's why we're here after all, is to see, can Florida's defense continue to get better week to week, and can Florida improve week to week during the 2022 season? All right, without further ado, let's take a look at the film. Unlike the offense, the defense had a much more predictable game. Everything you're going to see on film, and this makes sense to some degree. It wasn't perfect. There's issues to clean up. But from Week 1 to Week 2, this makes sense. Again, unlike the offensive video, which if you watch that, I said was one of the more significant regressions from Week 1 to Week 2 that I have seen in recent memory, this is much more comfortable. And the defense obviously kept Florida in the game, again, despite making some mistakes and despite still doing some things tactically I wish that we'd clean up. But all in all, this is better progression. I want to start by saying Cox had a really nice game in this game, despite not necessarily showing up on the stat sheet a ton. We had hoped that this staff was going to be the type of staff that would challenge him to not go rogue, not leave his responsibility, and he didn't. So I want to start that off right away because Cox is one of our best players on defense. And that's fantastic. That's exactly what you want to see on film. So Cox, I'm going to give you the highlight. Way to go. Great job this week in practice. Way to keep things together. Way to have an impact. Way to be a good teammate. That's good stuff. So early on, Kentucky likes to run spread sets like this. They pretty much abandon it. And that's going to be part of the storyline for Florida's defense moving forward, is by the end of this game, they adopted Utah's game plan, which is something they didn't do necessarily all the time on film. They do have a new OC, but I think they just copied what worked for Utah, and I think it works for these teams because of how Florida's defending it. We'll talk about that later. Florida, however, has been pretty darn good against the spread sets all year long, and right away you're going to see Cox. We're going to do a scrape exchange, right? Here comes Trey Dean. He's coming hot on the edge, and Cox is going to just pull shot. Look at this. He's going to just chuck this offensive lineman. This is throwing your right tackle into the quarterback, and that's actually going to tackle Levis. That's Cox showing his strength there off the line. Just wham, gone right into Levis for a stop, and that's nice stuff. Dexter, who you see on the screen, is going to be all over this film study. He may have had his best game as a Gator in this one. All right, 3rd down and 10 for Kentucky early. Again, they're going to spread the field here. More of what they want to do. Florida showing a simulated pressure. Simulated pressure, going to wind up bringing 4, dropping 2 back. Here goes Ventrell making the read on the quick screen. And something I want to highlight here is a check for Florida. So Trevez is going to stay to the outside of the blocker, which is what you want, and Ventrell comes on the inside. That is important. Florida's blown this stuff in the past. And then right here at the end, Trevez is going to come back in to help make this tackle. And then there's Ventrell is going to get a clean release, make a nice stick. Good play there by Florida's defense to get off the field on Kentucky's first drive. I talked about in the offense video how I would like Florida to go under center more because it's that much better for play action. I like the pistol too, but I think Napier would be wise to incorporate going under center. I'm sure he has reasons why he doesn't, but I think it's just the most effective play action play, and it's been that way for a long time. Here you're going to fake the jet sweep, and you're going to fake the inside run, which is going to pull the linebackers up, and then Florida is going to oblige by allowing an unheralded tight end of Kentucky to get completely wide open. Now, I don't know whose fault this is. Ventrell Miller seems to be here. Trey Dean is here. I can't tell you for sure whose fault it is. What I can tell you is both of them are going to turn their helmets around because they're guarding the same guy. Nobody's guarding that guy. And that is a problem, and that is a easy first down. And nice tackle there by Jason Marshall. Very next play, you've seen me again chronicle on the offensive video how good Kentucky's linebackers are, how well they watch the backfield, how well they follow play action. Let's see how Florida does here. Fake toss to the outside. Great job right here from Princely. That's perfect. Let's give him a check mark. He's going to contain. However, Bernie, again, you're the backside linebacker, Bernie. If this is a toss over here, you are probably not going to make the tackle. You're not. You're responsible for this gap anyway. So you're not going to make this tackle. Well, Bernie thinks he's going to make the tackle. He wants to make the tackle. He's going to keep on running, and my guy is wide open. Again, Bernie is much more athletic than this guy. This is simply a lack of eye discipline and a lack of discipline in general that leads to 2 first downs in a row. Here's some evidence of continued progress of Florida's run-stopping abilities, especially from previous seasons. With the motion, we shift over, and then we don't really shift back over, so that's not perfect. They moved us kind of the way we wanted to, but what's going to happen now is perfect. So right away, we're coming to the outside because we know that we're an edge defender, right? Read the play, read the deep handoff, get to the edge. That's perfect, okay? Not sure why Helm is backing up here, but that's not what we're focusing on. Take away the gap, stay to the outside, get here and fill this gap. Let your inside pursuers come get him. Hold the edge right there. Really, really nice job, Trevez. Way to get outside of this. Great job, Trevez. Nice work. And allow that tackle to be made inside of you there. Nice job by Florida's defense on that outside run to make sure they maintain their gap integrity and they also held the edge. All right, 3rd down and 5. If you had Trey Dean giving up a pass play on your card, your bingo card here, you're going to win. And what happens here is Levis typically throws to his first read. We've chronicled this. Chronicle apparently is the word of 2022, by the way. Sorry, I keep saying I said it like 10 times on the offensive video. I don't know why. But it's there. So at any rate, Levis tends to want to throw to his first read. On this particular ball here, he doesn't throw to his first read because he actually wants this route. He takes a mighty long time to come off this route. He really, really wanted it. Didn't have it. And Dean was reading this with his eyes coming down and feeling this, except the problem is, right, that's not his job. It's not his job. His job is not the inside because that's Ventrell Miller's job. So once again, we have Miller and Dean holding hands and giving up an easy out route here. So if Dean just does his job is to come down, go here to the flat, we're fine. He doesn't. Easy conversion, Kentucky on the move. We've talked about Patrick Toney's defense having creepers, and a creeper is where you're still going to send 4 guys, except right here we're going to drop back into coverage. This linebacker is going to be your 4th. So you're not actually exposing yourself by adding a pressure package or a blitz, but you are going to confuse the offensive line. Kentucky's offensive line, we had mentioned, was very susceptible to twists and stunts on the pod, and here this creeper is going to get home. There you go. He's going to creep through, and because he comes through the right tackle, his job is to take the most outside man. He just leaves him, and that allows, boom, a delicious sack right there. Beautiful play. Of course, they originally called that targeting, which is ridiculous. I'm not even sure how that stuff can still occur in football, how we still get targeting calls on everything that occurs, despite the fact that his head is perfectly up. But a really nice play from Justice Boone, who now has showed up 2 weeks in a row on film, looking good. That's a great play. Good quickness, good sack, good finish, and the creeper goes home. All right, 1st and 10 for Kentucky, and let's see if Florida duplicates. Here's Shamar James, a freshman, getting a lot of playing time. Not popping like Hopper, sort of just kind of doing what's expected, but still getting playing time out there. He got better from week 1 to week 2. Dean is going to let both of these receivers go by him, and then here's Ventrell Miller as well, and now you have Dean and Samar James in the same spot. So again, two guys in the same spot. Ventrell Miller recognized late. This is play action, so our eye control clearly not as good as Kentucky's. Play recognition not as good. Now Ventrell is at least somewhat close. Dean, again, is way behind this play. And they actually had both of these guys open, either one they wanted. And now, again, Kentucky's unheralded tight ends are free and running loose in the swamp and celebrating another first down. It's now towards the end of the first quarter, and Kentucky's beginning to operate out of basically a goal line formation, much like we saw Utah do, whether it's 12 or 13 personnel. They got a whole lot of guys with their hands on the ground, essentially in a goal line package. Florida's going to do what we seemingly are going to do through the first 2 weeks, which is play a 3-4. Do I like this? No, I don't. You can mix in a 3-4 against this, but at some point in time, you got to at least add another down lineman to make 4, and hey, sometimes even go 5, especially against teams that do not have great receivers. And again, Florida, to me, to my great dismay so far through Patrick Toney's first 2 games, Florida's corners are probably one of the best parts of their defense. Not probably, almost definitely. And by adding more down linemen, you're going to force teams to have to pass the ball more and take advantage of their receivers versus our corners, or basically us taking advantage of them. Instead, by playing these lighter boxes where you're counting on Florida's linebackers, the weakness of the team, the weakest part of our defense, to become the feature parts of the defense, doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand that. Yeah, in a world where we have better talent down the road, this will be great. That's what Kentucky did. It'll be great. It's really not great right now. At any rate, Florida dodges a major bullet here. We're going to bring pressure. Shamar James is going to come on a blitz, and then Bernie is going to wind up getting home. But here's Trey Dean. I don't know what to say about Trey Dean anymore than just show you what's happening on film. I don't even want to comment. But here comes Trey Dean down underneath. Again, he's the last man there. He's your strong safety, and he should be recognizing that people are running routes. His job is not to just run into the backfield at all times. He's supposed to be reading, right now, I see people running routes. This is not a run play. By the time he reads this, whoop, he is wide open. In fact, both these guys are going to be wide open. He's really wide open, but thankfully Bernie broke through here and gets by and gets a sack. So that's a play where it's a sack, but it also could have been a 40-yard play for Kentucky. So we escaped that one. A little bit of a mirage there for Florida. Now, Florida's secondary for the large part has been much improved over previous seasons, especially just with their technique. Notice right now that we're inside the numbers on both sides, which means the corners are going to have outside leverage. Again, this is stuff I had mentioned in last year's film study. This is automatic. Like, this is what we should be seeing all the time. We weren't seeing it all the time. So now we're getting the start correct. Now their job is to do what you do. Take a look at Kimber here. He opens up. He did not have a good game, by the way, not just because of the jump ball, but in general, I think he struggled more than any of the other Florida corners. And here, we're going to direct this to our safeties, right? We're going to funnel this here. Here's our safeties. We're going to direct this play in here, keep everything in this box, make things tough for Levis, who, again, I think is just wildly overhyped. I think he has a very nice arm. I think he struggles to read the football field. He's not there yet. He could get there one day. He's got a great arm. But as far as how he reads the field and what's happening with that, there's not a lot there that's amazing at this point in time, despite how much hype people want to give him. But at any rate, Florida does a really nice job this season staying on top of the receivers, something Toney does a really good job of. These safeties are on top of these routes. There is nothing here to go to. That's plagued Florida for many, many seasons in a row. It's not plaguing Florida this year, and that means you're going to have to move the ball down the field on Florida's defense. This is a really nice close here, too, by Powell. Take a look at this close. Comes flying in there to force this dump off that goes incomplete. Here's Perkins, of course, a guy that I love, a total ball hawk, good tackler. That's really good stuff from Florida's defense there on 3rd and 20. In previous years, we have not seen this, but Florida seems to be really buttoned up on these situations so far this season. Again, it's one of their best attributes, I think. If we can get the linebackers to be less involved in the play, then Florida tends to do better. All right, 1st and 10 for Kentucky. You've got Shamar James in the game, and then you've got Scooby Williams, who is also a redshirt freshman. You can tell right here, Shamar is going to urgently tell Scooby, you got to go, you got to go, you got to go. Here he is. Let me clear this out of the screen. Go, 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 go. Scooby's like, nah, bro, I'm good, man. I'm going to come in here and get myself a tackle. I don't need to do that. And we have 2 players doing the same thing again. And if 2 players doing the same thing, and then we have a play action, this can't be right. However, the D-line, check mark, holding the edge. Love to see this. There's your edge hold. Now we're going to close on this. This is perfect. Again, I mentioned last week the D-line I thought was actually solid against Utah. Hopefully you're seeing it's actually solid against Kentucky here again. That's not the problem. The problem, as you're seeing, tends to be our strong safety and our linebackers. So here we go. This guy is completely wide open, and that's a layup, and that's another first down to a tight end. Obviously, in this game, Kentucky did a much better job than Florida at getting open receivers, and that's largely because Florida's defense handed it to them, whereas Kentucky's defense did a phenomenally good job of making Florida earn everything. There were open receivers, there were plays to be made, but they were not obviously as easy as what you're seeing here with what Kentucky was able to craft against Florida, especially early on. All right, 1st and 10 for Kentucky. Again, you don't see Kentucky spreading the field anymore. They're pretty much, making sure there's 10 guys in the box here all the time. Florida is ready for this play. Take a look here. Florida's not expecting a run per se. We're going to stay on top of this. We are going to bring a safety, Torrance, down in the box here, but he's really ready to play any kind of crossing route, so we're going to take that away. And there is nothing here. Here's Kimber. Kimber's going to backpedal out and stay on top of this route the entire time. We don't get any pressure here, unfortunately. No pressure here. We're going to bring, there you go, really just 4. No pressure. But this is completely bottled up, and I want to stop this here. There's nothing there. There's nothing here, right? Florida's taken everything away. This is a nice job by Levis. You have a 2-route option. This is nothing. And this is perfect. If I'm coaching Kimber, this is great. This is phenomenal. You're on top of the route. You're closer to the end zone than he is. He's throwing a 50-50 jump ball, which really isn't even 50-50 in this case because you have better position than he does. This is fantastic. You've done everything right. Unfortunately for Kimber, he's in the game. He's got a club on his left arm. That's going to affect him. Why is his left arm not going up there? Because he's got a club on it, because he's not healthy. He's got an injury, and he doesn't use his left hand at all. And that essentially causes Florida to give up a touchdown. Now, I do have questions here. Do you need to play Kimber if he's got this on his arm, right? Does he need to be in the game? Given who Florida has, given who Florida's rotating at corner, is there any reason to play him if he's unable to guard a 50-50 ball? Now, I know he's still playing good defense here, and I'm not trying to dog him, but again, the question needs to be raised, right? These are games in the SEC. I know you want to rotate your guys, but clearly he does not want to use that left hand there. He can't use it, and that causes him to give up a touchdown that I don't think he gives up if he's got a left hand. And that is unfortunate because Kentucky at this point in time is down 3-0. They've pretty much done nothing. And they get a touchdown, I think, against the grain of play here to go up 7-3. All right, 3rd down and 10 for Kentucky after 2 really solid plays from Florida on 1st down and 2nd down. Kentucky now not going to stay in the goal line formation. This favors Florida. We got a battle down here with Helm versus their receiver. Now, right now he opens up correctly, which is telling you that he wants to keep him to the inside where he has help. Good start. Everything's going well. And then for some reason here, he just begins to drift, right? And he's losing his spatial relationship to the receiver, which then causes that to happen. Again, you got to be more aware. I think that Avery Helm has made some phenomenal progress from where he was last year. Again, he made a lot of mistakes last year. He's really responded to the coaching. It's one reason why he's getting a lot of playing time. This is a mental mistake here. He turns himself around by getting lost on this route. He has Dean squatting on it. He has no reason to be this far ahead in this case. He only needs to be slightly ahead and a little bit further outside so that when this inevitable turn to the inside comes, he's waiting for it and he's making contact with the receiver. Instead, this ball comes out. Helm's on the ground, and we have an easy 1st down. Now, why does this matter? We've talked a lot about how Will Levis does not make reads. I want you to watch Will Levis. He's going to do the right thing here, have soft eyes down the middle of the field to the safety, identify your coverage, but in reality, he is, look at him. He's not, look, there's one receiver here. He's not looking anywhere else. He's throwing it to him all day long. So if you just cover that, this play is dead. We're here, and it's dead. So again, operation number 1 is take away the first read. Helm would have had it. Florida's defense is in great position for this. This is a much better situation on 3rd and 10 than we've seen in the past with Florida playing zone. Everything here was right except Helm lost a little bit of responsibility. I said it last week. I'll say it again this week. I expect the defense to get better each and every week. It's things like these. They already progressed from week 1 to week 2. Of course, they're still making mistakes. We're going to have issues at linebacker all season long. Dean is someone who I think needs to be replaced so someone else can play there so we can see what they can do, see if they make the same mistakes. But for now, this stuff's going to keep getting cleaned up. I expect that to get cleaned up, but it leads to a first down here for Kentucky. All right, 2nd down and 6. Here's Cox. We already highlighted him earlier, having a clean game. Here's an example of it, right? Now, previous Cox may have taken the straighter line here to the running back. But Cox now is going to take the perfect textbook line to where he can cover both of them by staying on the quarterback's outside shoulder. Take a look at that. And because he does that, he gets rewarded by stripping this ball, sending it skyward, and then Dexter, who had a phenomenal game and is such an athlete for a D tackle, picks it off. Now, unfortunately, he couldn't keep his feet because we all know Florida needed those points as quickly as possible. However, great play by Cox, great play there by Dexter. Fantastic get off on the snap, and way to play textbook. Way to do your job, Cox. Again, I want to give Cox all the love I can. That's the point of film review, in large part, is to see what these guys are doing week in and week out. And hey, it's okay if you make a mistake. The goal is we want to see progress, and great progress from week 1 to week 2 for Cox. He deserves all of the respect for that. That's great work. Kentucky gets gifted this field position from, not gifted, I shouldn't say, let me take that back. An incredibly great interception by Kentucky set this play up in the first place. Richardson missed his throwing line by a little bit. I break that down on the offensive video, but at any rate, here we are. Florida with a really nice call here. Here comes Dean. He wants to rush into the backfield anyway. You might as well put him to good use and let him do it. And Florida's going to cover up very nicely here. All the routes are covered up nicely. Dean gets free, gets home, and unfortunately goes low. And they call this one. They didn't call it when they went low on Richardson on the second play of the game, but they called this one here. The reffing I thought was a little frustrating in this game, but either way, they call that one, and it leads to a first down for Kentucky. I show it to show that that's good defense by Florida there on 2nd and goal. They were making Kentucky earn it in this game, despite they had, obviously, issues, of course, that we're chronicling word of the year here in 2022. But they did play a much better game, and they did tighten up and make things tough on Kentucky when possible. All right, 1st and goal for Kentucky. We have one receiver. We're in a goal line set here. Here's Big Dez. But Florida's playing 3 down linemen. I don't understand. I don't get it. I don't like it. I don't want it. I would like to see 5 down linemen here. At the very least 4, but I would take 5. Why? Because I'm not worried about that. That's not a problem. We'll lock up on that. And I'm not worried about your tight ends. They're not a problem either. They're not going to scare me. What I am worried about is you running the football on me because I have 3 down linemen. And I don't have amazing linebackers who are going to make up for that. So why Tony continues to not use a 5-man or even 4-man front in many cases, but especially in this situation, it's a goal line situation. Teams are having a lot of success running the football against Florida because they have a huge numerical advantage at the line of scrimmage. Blows my mind. But here we go. And there it is. Almost a touchdown. Don't like it, don't get it. I really hope to see this change. It's the very next play. Now we are literally on the goal line, right? We're like 4 or 5 inches away here, maybe 6 inches, half a yard. Here's Cox, who's going to put his hand in the ground, but still, at this point in time, basically a goal line formation, right? 2 receivers, running back. We're still, again, give me 5. Just give me 5. Nope. QB sneak, touchdown. Are you going to stop teams there? Not often, but I don't really understand the lack of playing more beef on the line. All right, 1st and 10 for Kentucky. We're coming out of halftime for sure. We've cleaned up the issues with the tight end. We have Dean moving across the line of scrimmage, who's now going to pick up the receiver who comes across the line. We now have Helm rotating back. He's going to signal to Torrance to rotate this way, except nobody is going to cover tight end. Yep, there's Dean. And there's Miller, and here's Torrance. So we have 2 people, again, guarding 1. This really has got to get fixed immediately. This has to get fixed. This is happening way too often. Thankfully, Dexter, who had himself a heck of a game, bats this ball down and prevents what's going to be a big play, or maybe not a big play, because he gets sniped by the referee. Either way, bullet dodge there. Another wide open guy on film with a little play action. It's time to highlight Cox again. We've displayed his skills on a variety of circumstances, but this one perhaps makes me the most happy. Florida now is going to run a really big exchange where Cox basically is going to go from the left rusher to the right rusher, which means he's responsible for the right edge, and Levis feels pressure. And again, we saw on last week's video that Cox got sucked inside trying to take a direct route for a sack, but here he's going to push off to create separation and go down and hold the edge. I could not be more pleased with this play. If I was doing film review this week for Florida, you better believe I'd be signaling him out. This is how you play defense. This is how you do what's best for your team. I want all of you to do this. And he should be rewarded with a sack here. Unfortunately, Levis sort of just gives himself up, but Cox goes in to kind of just eat him. He's like, look at this. He's just nom, 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 nom. And loses control, and this becomes an incomplete pass on 3rd and 9. But they get the stop. He loses a sack, which is unfortunate. But that is great work by Cox. Great, great work there. Great to have that on film. Great to see that progress. 1st and 10, and another edition of linebackers talking to each other. Again, Ventrell Miller's out with an injury here. Linebackers talking to each other, but communication. Oh, sorry, there's Ventrell Miller. He's not out. There you are, Ventrell. You're still there. My apologies. This is Bernie, and we're going to have 2 covering 1. There's Summerall, and there is Bernie. And that means no one is holding the edge over here. Whoops, big mistake, and a 1st down. 2nd and 9 for Kentucky. This is going to be unlucky. Florida's going to bail here into a cover 3. And this zone is it's just so much better than what we've seen in the past. Florida was horrible at playing zone in the past. Now they look like a team that knows what they're doing. And in this case, covered up here nicely. This window is a small window. Here's Trevez, who's taking the outside. There's the inside. And then here's Helm, who's the back man, who's coming in to make a play on this ball. This is what you want to see. You want to see them trying to fit balls into windows like that. That's what leads to interceptions. Helm comes in, makes a play. It gets tipped, and of course, wouldn't you know it, it goes right to Kentucky's receiver. So Kentucky's 2 biggest pass plays of the day came on a tipped pass and a 50-50 jump ball, where Florida was in perfect position on both of them. That is most unfortunate. 2nd down and 6 for Kentucky, and Florida's linebackers, for whatever reason, just really struggle to read the play and where it's going well. And you're going to see a prime example of it here. Nice exchange again. I like to see this year. It's the Rip Liz concepts with Bama runs. We've talked about it a lot. Florida almost never did it. But bring the safety down and switch. Rather than make him chase all over the place over here, just exchange this. Put your corner at safety, it's fine, and then that way you can exchange it back, which is exactly what Florida does. You don't get caught up in this play here. Unfortunately, what does happen is our linebackers lose this play entirely. So on one hand, we go this way, and Ventrell goes that way. So we literally part the Red Sea ourselves. Both of them have an entirely different read. Ventrell thinks that Levis kept it, and we think we're going out here. And the reality is Bernie's going right in between you, where they then come to make the tackle. And not that big of a deal. You know, you're going to gain 5 or 6 yards at times, but I think it's just a thing where you see on film a lot that Florida's linebackers are rarely cleanly reading where the ball is going and then making a play coming downhill. It's often the wrong way, then they have to react and make a save. And if the D-line's not there to sort of really kind of mess things up, then a gain or a nice gain is on hand. 1st and 10 now. Again, 12 personnel really, basically. Still happening here for Kentucky. They've just taken the Utah strategy, and why not? We're in the second half. Adopt it. See if it works. Florida going to do a nicer job on this play action. So it didn't take us nearly as long. We weren't all the way up here, right? We're going to hop back. Ventrell's going to get in this window. Helm here on the bottom is going to do his job and turn him to the middle. Same thing. Look at the leverage points here by the corners, right? Leverage points. Funnel them to the middle. Keep the funnel going. It makes everything easier. Here's your first window defender. He's now got to throw it over Ventrell, which he successfully does. But then he's got to drop it in this window. Here's your safety. There's your corner. And that's a tight, tight window. He does not thread it in there. That's an incomplete pass. On top of that, Levis again is going to open his hands up, and he's just staring at this guy, right? Look at his helmet. He's throwing it to him the whole way and misses. So again, tight window, but good job by Florida to make that a tight window. We have not seen that on film in years past. All right, 2nd and 10 now. Dean is going to be your most outside defender, and inexplicably, he's going to choose to go this way. Again, this just doesn't make any sense. He's the edge defender. His job is to be outside. His job is not this gap. If he scores through this gap, that is not Dean's fault. Dean's job is this side. He's going to come through there. He takes a peek at that gap, and then right now, I was like, ooh, I see grass. There he goes. There goes Dean. First down. 0 on 0, and the offensive 0 wins. Now here's an example of a corner holding the edge. Let's take a look at Helm here. Outside leverage. Beautiful. Snap. Stay to the outside. Beautiful. Engage him to the outside. Great. Here comes Cox disrupting on the inside. Very nice. And look at Helm. Stay to the outside. Let your defender come to the inside. Push off and make a run. So Bernie misses the tackle lane, but since we're in our correct gaps, Helm's going to come down here and make a great tackle for only 1.5 yards here in the red zone. That's entirely done by correct gap positioning. Very, very nice. Kentucky decides that Will Levis is Tom Brady here and tries to hit a little Tom Brady special where you bring the receiver in motion here, stick him in here, and then sneak him in the little seam window. He gets a little excited, throws it too hard. Florida, though, is in pretty good position here in general. Torrance is going to come downhill. They only have one block engaged here. You got Marshall to the outside. This is a nice play, though. If it works, obviously, what you're trying to do, of course, is lock up a block here, and then he's going to lock up the first person that comes into his window. And your receiver generally is going to blow by that. But all in all, I like the play call. Poor execution from Kentucky, and I think Florida would have had a fighting chance to stop that. But Levis just kind of geeking that one there. So Florida survives, and the game is then tied 16-16. 3rd and 5. Florida has Anthony Richardson essentially has given the pick 6 to Kentucky. Kentucky's now in the lead. You can still see the lights of Tom Petty glowing. Always love that. And here, we're going to get everything right pre-snap. All right, 3rd and 5. Take a look at the leverage here by freshman Devin Moore. Inside leverage, deny the slant route, right? Use the sideline as your helper, and that's what you want to do. Everything is good on the snap. He's going to take, like anyone else would take, one little outside step, try to bait you. That's okay. You don't need to go outside. You want him to go to your outside. That's what you're hoping to do. What you don't want to have happen is this, especially in this situation where we're at, right? So here we go. Just stay to the inside. Instead, he steps outside. He loses control of the route. These are just pick routes here for the slant under. And then that's just enough to get rubbed right here. There's your rub. There's the ball. And there's the first down and more yards after. So if Devin Moore just maintains inside leverage, again, Kentucky is literally running a play that can only go to this guy. That's it. That's where that play is going, right? These are, I mean, you could run this little whip here, but in reality, these are just to get in the way. And there it is, and there it goes. So again, the details mean everything in football and especially defense, and I expect Florida to keep getting better. The coaches are getting them lined up pre-snap largely correctly, which is a huge improvement. Post-snap, we got to get that execution a little better. 1st and 10 for Kentucky. We're going to get a power run. You get Bernie coming down. Nice block here on the kick out. You're going to see him take Perkins back, take the corner back. But really what happens here is Bernie comes flying into this, and just engages, right, the offensive lineman. But in reality, he is the edge control here. Yes, you also have edge defenders in your corners, your nickel in your corner, but he needs to set the edge. You can't just come like a battering ram and not be able to get off this block. See him here? Gets erased. Right? I mean, he's gone. He's just destroyed. He's turned all the way around. That cannot happen. He has got to make sure that he maintains spacing here so that if this kicks outside, he's waiting for it. And this play is dead. Again, it's not his job to get in here. He loses this battle, but yet another example where everything is good for Florida, we just lose control at the linebacker position, and what should be a loss or no gain turns into a 9-yard gain. It's a great play from freshman Devin Moore. This is everything you want to see. They're going to run the quick game here, a quick wide receiver slant. Notice how he does not backpedal, not even one step. That's not his role. He needs to read this. Is it going to be a short play? Is it going to be a screen? If so, it's my responsibility. He's still flat. He has not moved an inch. Eyes on the quarterback. He knows he's in zone. And now he's going to plant the foot. He sees the arm open up. Read, react, play fast, make a tackle. Fantastic play. That's a freshman right there making that kind of play. Fantastic stuff. 3rd and long for Kentucky. Florida. Going to fake a little bit of pressure here at the line and then drop essentially into a zone, bringing a creeper, right? So we're going to drop off the edge here. There's Powell dropping back. We're just bringing 4, so we're playing safe in coverage. Levis is going to open up. He's going to eye the safety like he should, and then he's going to just lock on because, again, that's what Levis really does. He's going to lock on. He's locked on. Little pump fake, lock on, lock on, lock on, lock on. I'm throwing it. Now he's throwing this ball into double coverage with an underneath defender, and he's lucky it's not picked, right? So Kurt Herbstreit calls him a polished quarterback, I think, before this game. He obviously correctly called AR as unrefined or unready or whatever he said, but I still don't see the polish on Levis. I'm not hating on the guy. I just think for a guy who got so much love, the film does not indicate that yet. Maybe one day he'll get there, but on film so far, he's just a good athlete with a great arm. That does not mean that he's figured everything out in the quarterbacking world, especially because he's got guys open, like right here, but he's not looking there ever. So anyway, in general, Florida secondary is very solid. They're following his eyes, so everyone's just locking onto his eyes, and that's where he's going to go. So good defense by Florida. They get the pass break up on 3rd and 11, and they get off the field. All right, some more edge control issues here. However, this is not defensive line like we talked about. There's Kimber, who I think, again, had a rough game. He is the edge. Here comes a motion. He had to be shuffling a little bit already with this motion. Instead, he inexplicably moves to the inside. And then, again, right, this is just a misunderstanding of what's happening here. He's not responsible for this. He is now the edge defender out here. And as soon as this ball's run, which it is now he knows it's run. He's got to get the heck out here. But he doesn't. He's taking a hesitation step, and now he's taking an inside line, trying to make a hero tackle. Terrible angle, and what should be, again, a 2-yard gain turns into a 15-yard gain. Florida will clean this stuff up, I have no doubt. It's week 2, but that's what's showing up a lot on this film. All right, 3rd and 8. Florida desperately needs to get a stop here and hope that Kentucky misses this field goal since Florida failed to get it on 4th down. Cox here on the edge is going to come in what seems to be recklessly, but I want you to notice the adjustment that happens. And then Dexter is going to get through here and make a really, really nice play. Again, he had a great game, but here comes Cox flying in hot. He seems to be engaging hero mode. And right here, notice the breakdown. Previously, Cox would have just blown this up and he would have taken his chances. Instead, he knows he's the edge defender, and watch what happens. He explodes back and gets into the edge. Dexter then also gets through. Tackle is made. No gain. Really, really nice stuff from both of those guys. All right, 2nd and 9. One thing I want to see Florida's defense do is come downhill a lot faster, especially when it's handoff. Here is Helm. He's your boundary defender. He's going to pass this off, which is fine. Now you are the boundary defender, right? You are going to come. If this is run, you are coming downhill on the edge. It's run. You now know it's run. He knows it's run. Right? Let's get down here and make a play. Instead, take a look at him. This is fine. Contain. But, blah. And that's a big deal. If he comes down and wants to make a play here confidently, because we're in good shape. Look, the inside's taken away, right? He should be running at the outside shoulder right here. Outside shoulder, come downhill, outside shoulder. All he can do is go back into the inside help. Instead, he's too soft here. Gets turned upfield, goes along for a ride, and what should be a potentially 0-yard gain goes for 7. So again, I think you're going to see this defense clean this up. I'm going to keep saying that, but these are the little things that Florida's going to get better at recognizing. Because right now, Tony's largely putting them in position to be successful. They're just going to have to learn how to make plays from being in the right position. All All right, again, Florida's linebackers, seemingly no matter who it is, tend to be struggling with holding a gap or getting in the right area. This is going to be David Reese. He's played a lot of football, been around for a while, and you're going to watch him just blow through this gap, right? He's going to shove him off, but he blows through his own gap, and then can only get an arm on this running back on a crucial 3rd down and 2 here. Can't quite get the stop. And there goes Shamar James missing the tackle, and then this just piles on. But let's give credit to Florida here. They stopped Kentucky on the next 3 plays. They used their timeouts. They made Kentucky kick and make that field goal. The defense obviously kept Florida in this game all throughout. They weren't perfect. You can see a lot of issues you're still seeing on film, but you can also see a lot of progress from week 1 to week 2. In a nutshell, how the defense played made sense, right? If Florida had won this game and the offense played like they should have played, which would have made sense, Florida would have won this football game. But instead, you got a defense that again felt like what they should have felt like, and you got an offense that felt anything but that. And that's what largely, of course, led to this loss, and will send Florida into a place of uncertainty as we move forward into the future. Again, this football team will have to answer questions that are going to be asked of them by other teams. Can they handle these heavier packages, these goal line sets, these 12 and 13 pieces of personnel? How do they want to adjust to that? Can Florida's defense adjust to the issue they're having at linebacker and covering play action? And then obviously, can the offense get things going? Can Anthony Richardson get confidence back and become consistent? Can Florida become a team that can pass competently? If not, of course, the floor could be low for this team. The ceiling could also still be high, but so much of this remains totally uncertain. No one can know, but that's why I'll be here each and every week to break it down so you can get a more in-depth look of what's going on Saturdays throughout the fall. I'll see you next week after the USF game. As always, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm James from the Gator Nation Football Podcast, signing off.